Albemarle High School. My name's Wilbur Whitman. Welcome to the National Jazz Festival Virtual Division. It was my pleasure to listen to your recording. You're really playing some jazzy things. The Brookmeyer, well above grade level. The literature is really historic, and I congratulate you for that. Also, you value soloing as much as you do ensemble work, which is so great to hear. So I've complimented you enough. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things I have on the sheet that may help you with some of the other captions. Because bands like yours, when they come into competition, sometimes they don't get as rewarded as well because there's harder aspects to try to pull the music off. The playing the music of Thad Jones, Mel Lewis orchestra is very difficult. So you have to really master and maturity wise, your ears have to listen side to side instead of so much front to back and watching the conductor and all that for those things. It's individual responsibilities of knowing the note you have, what part of the chord it is, and how it blends and balances, especially the Brookmeyer things, but all of Thad's writing with the Thad Jones and Lewis band. I noticed the drummer. He's really good, and he's done listening. I'll bet if I were to talk to him personally at a clinic or at the live event, if you guys can get to eventually, we could converse about different drummers, right? I put a link on there for him of what reference I used for my band when I studied the same chart to play with them, and one of my best friends and former student watching him grow up and playing my bands is Nick Marchione. He's the lead trumpet for the Vanguard Orchestra, the Thad Jones My Lewis band. And we talk about historically the different lead players that have played the same charts that he's playing now and how he tries to put his little signature on it in respect to what's been already played. So we're always listening. And that and the Mel Lewis is just the most underrated great drummer. Um, they talk about Buddy Rich and Louis Bellson even, but Thad, you listen to recordings and Thad is on them, and you don't know until you listen later and you go, "Who was that swinging drummer?" You go, "That's Thad. That's Mel Lewis from the Thad Jones band." Mel Lewis, right? So the cymbal work that he was doing, I think I put comments on the sheet. I'd like you to just look that over, young man, and do some listening to that. It's the articulation of how he lightly dances at times, and you were a little. I think it would help lock the groove of the band in rather than being a little heavier than you were. And it was only in small spots. But speaking of articulation, like on the cymbal that I was talking about, it's the same thing in the winds. If you guys can clean up the attack of the articulation clarity of how long, maybe if it's a duple slur, two note slur, then maybe how long is that second? Is it do ba? Is it a ba? Is it do ba? Get that so that clears up and it's in tune. You treat intonation because these are hard. These are ninths. Their extensions are parts of the roots, third and fifths. That music is not like that. Brookmeyer music is not like that. When you go down and you look at the notes, there's dissonance within the section, oftentimes, and you might be the only one in the band with one note too. So you have to know your importance of that, and then blend and balance that. That creates a blend and balance. It's not just blend and balance standing up front. It's side to side within the section, and then with the lead player down the middle of the band, the trumpet, the lead bone, and the lead alto, for the players in there listening carefully to them and knowing their responsibility of whether or not, yeah, I hear him, he's still loud, but I need to be a little louder because I'm the only one in the band with that note, like that. And that's an important note then. It might happen on a Barry, right? Might be you and the bass bone on it. And the bass could have the root of the chord. And you're the only ones that have the ninth, a note off. So to tune that and then also articulate it in a passage cleanly what that starts to gives you the opportunity to hear are really, really professional style overtones that just keep emanating from the group to make it sound like that Jones Mel Lewis music. That's the secret. I mean, that's hard. Is it like that with Basie? Yeah, but you can get away with it because it's got the same kind of inert swing as the duple swing, but the writing isn't as dissonant in inner voices with Basie at all time. Nestico and maybe Bill Holman and things, but it's more about dynamic contrasts with the Basie band. A roar to a triple P, like that kind of thing. So with your literature is historically very difficult, and I hope that helps you. And the same thing, with the drummer, it's the articulation that's on there. So I've got a whole thing in there for you. Um, I said that about what I just said about the articulation. The balance is allowing us to hear all sections, right? Your overall ensemble balance, we can hear all sections, but I'd like you to pay more attention to the balance within the sections. And I think once that's improved, that's better. Um, Once you get the dynamic contrasts, right? I think your score, as far as a competition, I think your score is going to put you up into the gold echelon of those bands from around the country. That's important, right? But you're a well rehearsed band and you're performing on a very high level with strong soloing of those. Um, that was really cool. Intonation, just you got to treat it with the same rigor as wrong notes. Go back, tune it, find it where it's at on your chops. Go back, and this isn't classical music too. Go back, play the passage, and then see if you can remember what your chops felt like on that. And if not, I ask the students, and they go, "No, I didn't remember. It went by too fast." I say, "Okay, well, let's retune it again. Let's play it as a long tone. Let's get the feel and see and play the note before it. Go to that note. Like really treat it intensely, like you would if you were learning the fingering for a new note, or like with that same rigor, right? And intonation, and that'll really, really, really with this kind of music, be put you right at the tops of that. Okay, well, best wishes. I hope to see you in Philadelphia one time. Your band, really it'd be great to talk with you live and in person in Philadelphia at the live version of our National Jazz Festival. Best wishes. If I can do anything, you can reach me at Wilbur WALBUR at wworchestras.com. There's hundreds of videotapes, educational tapes there of me with Nick playing from the Vanguard Band, and of course, Arturo, Phil Woods, the great Dizzy Gillespie, that are up there for you guys to listen to and transcribe from, those kind of things. All right, best wishes. Thanks for being part of the festival.